strip or would it be just a sinuses?
So would it Welcome to the meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Holly Springs. First, we'll have prayer, and I will ask, Ms. Potts, will you lead us in prayer tonight?
Father God, we come before you, says we thank you once more again, Father. Thank you for this day, oh Heavenly Father, a day that we never seen before. Father God, we give you the praise, the honor, and the glory, dear God. Thank you for health and strength. Bless the sick and shut in, oh Heavenly Father. Bless all over the United States. All United States need prayer, oh Heavenly Father. Father, thank you for everything. We can't thank you enough, oh Heavenly Father, because you've been so good to us, oh Heavenly Father. Father, we just thank you and we glorify you. Bless this meeting, oh Heavenly Father, let it be what you had it to be. In Jesus' name, we pray.
Amen. Thank you. All right, and next, roll call, please.
Alderman Fountain,
Here.
Alderman Jones, absent, Alderman Shipp, Alderman Teal, Alderman Merriweather, absent. Mayor, you have 3 board members present.
Thank you so much. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'm going to request a moment of silence for peace, please. Thank you. And also, before we adopt the agenda, I want to send out a congratulations to Mr. Henderson Thigpen. He received his certificates over the weekend for 2 Grammy awards. So we are very proud of him. As being from this area, we're very proud that he received 2 Grammys. So congratulations to him. Also, special congratulations to the class of 1974 for enjoying their 50th class anniversary. So reunion. So, all right. Next, I'll entertain adoption of the agenda.
Madam Council, that we adopt the agenda.
Is there a second? It's been moved by Alderman Shipp, second by Alderman Teal. All those in favor? All those opposed? 3 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 absent, and Jones and Merriweather. First up, general city bills and claims.
I move that we pay the city general bills and claims.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
It's been moved by Alderman Shipp, second by Alderman Johnson. All those in favor? All those opposed? 3 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 absent in Jones and Merriweather. Item number 2, city utility bills and claims.
I'm going to pay the city utility bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
The move by Alderman Fountain, second by Alderman Shipp. All those in favor? Motion passes, 3 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent in Jones and Merriweather. Item number 3, approval of August 9th, special call meeting minutes, August 13th, budget meeting minutes, August 14th, special call meeting, August 20th, regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Come out at once.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you approve the minutes for August 9th, special call meeting, August 13th, and August 14th. August 20th.
August 9th, August 13th, August 14th, and August 20th. Second by Alderman Shipp. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes, 3 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 absent in Jones and Merriweather. I'm going to hold item number 4. I think all of you all received the email from Attorney Perry, so we can talk about this again at later. Item number 5 is a motion to authorize execution of memorandum of understanding with Alliance Healthcare System for use of facility in the event of a mass medical emergency. And this is dealing with when they requested the use of the multi-purpose building. Back to Broadman. copy of it. And so it's just asking in the event where there's some type of medical emergency, there are too many people from the hospital, that we would allow them to utilize the multipurpose building. Is there a motion?
That's a one availability.
Ma'am?
In case of crisis.
Yes, ma'am. In case of an emergency, say for example, they would have so many people that they would not be able to service them in the hospital. Say like even, I guess a COVID situation that we saw in some places like in New York. Is there a motion?
I just got a question or two. The cost, utility costs, all of that will be done through Alliance, is that correct? They will pay?
Well, in the event of an emergency.
Sure,
you
right.
know,
If there
it will
is,
probably be
yeah.
like a shared cost of it. And hopefully FEMA.
Equipment and associate systems directly related to use in support of alternate care site facility operations will be submitted for consideration and reimbursed through disaster assistance programs. Well, my only fear is what if we don't get, because in the past, we've had trouble getting assistance from time to time, so if we don't get it, who does that fall
That would probably fall back on shared cost as far as in the event of an emergency of taking care of, you know, the residents here and people in this county for the most part. It's what we would be looking at. So it's probably something that we would have to deal with as well as, you know, as Alliance. Hopefully we'll never have to, you know, do anything with it, but I appreciate you're asking, the right questions for sure.
on? Is
I don't believe so.
this from Brazil?
I don't believe we has looked at it. However, if that's something that, you all want to hold, that's fine, with the day. I didn't see any issue with it. So, what's your pleasure? All right. Alderman Schiff moved that this item be held,
I'll say.
and second by Alderman Teal. All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Hmm.
Well, and I don't want to
Is it an
act like I'm against it. I think it's needed. It's just when it comes to accrued cost, and it says will be submitted for consideration, and then reimbursement through established disaster assistance programs. That's if they, you know, we've dealt with things that we had been accepted in some things in the past. I don't have anything against it at all. I just want to make sure we're covered in a manner that if there's a big cost, that, you know, it doesn't fall off directly on the city.
All right, so I've got two ayes. Alderman Fountain, what is your vote?
It'll be brought up at the next meeting.
I'm not sure since they voted to hold it, I'll just let Dr. Williams know that, it was held.
Something like that. Commission, that's, yeah.
Since he had us on.
All right, let's react. Item Meriwether, you entered the room. There is a motion on the floor to hold item number 5. What's your pleasure? Aye. All right, so that's 4 ayes and 1 absent in John. All right. Item number 6, and we talked about this, John, during the executive session last week. And, you all want to talk about it some more, we can. I don't want to talk about it right now, discuss without us going ahead and, actually acting on it. Are you all ready to make a decision on it, or would you like to look over it again in executive session?
What is our year tax on
Couldn't tell you.
And those who take possession of it. I don't think you remember, so you
that? You can see what's.
what they pay now.
It's commercial.
Well, I'll hold it and we can look at it again.
What is, this the building? It's the, I moved. Okay.
I just hadn't had a chance to ask that question.
Well, I move that we accept the deed of property from the,
The New York Fashion
New
Building.
York Fashion Building. Yeah, that's, I thought that's what we wanted to see.
Was it not in your pack?
Contingent on a clean title.
Contingent upon a clean title. What's the?
All right, is there a second? Move Alderman Downton, second by Alderman Schiff. All those in favor? All those opposed? Item Meriwether?
I have a, so what is is that the process for accepting those kinds of donations? Do we have to have any kind of more information before we do that?
I don't know if you all want to hold it, you're welcome to.
Yeah, it was on the floor. I'm ready for the motion. Madam Clerk. The procedure. Goes into our deed.
Ma'am.
It goes into our, already purchased properties, but still.
Yes, it just has.
There are
Aye.
4 ayes, 5 ayes, sorry, 4 ayes. And 1 absent in general. All right, next we have, public comment. And we have 1 person who signed up to speak. Mr. Jim Smith, please come forward, state your name for the record. And you have 3 minutes.
Jim Smith, missed you guys last meeting. My electric bills still aren't being received in a timely fashion. Mayor, you and I agree on things and we disagree on things. One of the things I agree on is public comment. I guess the Attorney General in Mississippi doesn't think we have to have public comment, but I really do appreciate it. But I would ask that you move public comment to the end of the meeting. So much stuff happens at these meetings that it's unfair to the residents. If we are allowed to have public comment, we should be able to comment on what happens during that meeting, not wait 2 weeks. Case in point, I came here and I asked a whole bunch of questions about what my electric bill means. Because it appears that I'm being billed for 379 days in a 366-day year. I don't know what certain things mean, and you can't get answers, which is my point. We sit here and we hear people ask the GM for HSUD, hear him ask for $500,000 for this, ask for $300,000 for meter readers. But he can't answer questions about what my bill means. That's number one. And number two, then he says, we're not going to pay TVA. We were unable to pay TVA. Look at my record. I get my bill electronically. When I get it, I pay it within 24 hours. And I have the same expectation of this city. You get a bill from TVA, it should be paid. There is no excuse, none. Don't care about storms, don't care about COVID, don't care that we still, after 3 or 4 months, still don't have the billing satisfied. You guys didn't have enough reserve to pay TVA? That is wrong. Hire Blackman and Blackman, get them in here, protect yourself, because thank God my electric wasn't shut off because we didn't pay TVA. But all I'm saying is, 2 minutes are gone already? All I'm saying is, you can't even get an explanation of what your bills mean. You can't, from an engineer, although he's not an electrical engineer, an engineer can't say anything more than it's technical. And we can't get billing figured out. get somebody in here who can, because I guarantee you, there's somebody that can come in here, probably two of the guys that ran utility companies that you put up for their resumes. Somebody out there can take my electric bill and say, hey, Jimmy, this is what it means. And by the way, we got a TVA bill due in a month because they bill ahead. and we can't pay them. That's wrong. All this petty politics that goes on here, I don't care about the petty politics. Leave it out that door and pay the TVA bill. And paying half of it, that's not good enough. Because if I did it to you, and I point at you, Mayor, but if I paid half my bill to you, I'm getting a notice that says you're being shut off. I have the same expectation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 3 minutes.
I know you missed me.
All right, very much so. Thank you. Very much. All right, so Mr. Smith was the only person to sign up. Let me see what time it is. We have a public hearing that starts at 6. So we have 5 minutes. So, Ms. Jones, let's go ahead and do that quick claim deed in the interest of time. All right, go ahead. This for Mr. Boyd Oliver Jr.
Yes, that property was sold at the tax sale, and they need a quick claim deed for the 1985 tax.
And what is your request?
My request is to issue a quick claim deed to Mr. Harry.
Are you
For
asking
this
for
property.
Attorney Perry to do it? or-
Yes, I sent it to Attorney Perry.
Okay. All right, so what are you asking this board to do?
I guess Attorney Perry will be asking that he would be able to issue the quick claim deed for that property of Mr. Boyd Arthur for the night.
All right, so I've got 3 ayes and nothing. So it's 4 ayes and 1 absent in Jones. All right, next, Ms. Jones, Ida B. Wells Street.
That'll be Miss Lewis.
He's gonna do it for you? Because it was under the, for ordinances. All right, go ahead, Ms. Jones, that's what you have.
Okay. Okay, concerning the road range for the Ida B. Wells Street, the road range I received from E911 when it was originally created. It was created for North Memphis Street and South Memphis Street. And the road range started from 100 to 455 on North and 100 to 300. The reason that it is a need to add North and South to the Ida B. Wells Street is because those streets would start sinking because 100 starts here, but the first address on South starts at 110. The first address on North past the red light starting at the post office, it starts at 110 also, and that's 110 North. So I'm not sure how you would need to, I don't know the proper terms for amending.
Attorney Perry said it would need to, the motion would state it was a Scrivener's error in the ordinance, that it needs to be stated that the street would remain the same as North and South.
Otherwise, you have to change everybody's
So when the
address.
ordinance was adopted and it was drafted, it just said Ida B. Wells. It did not include the north and south. That's what we have currently on Memphis Street.
Yes,
So it actually needs to be amended.
yes,
In
ma'am.
order to reflect the proper way. But she's expressed that Attorney Perry said a Scrivener's error, but it's not, it just wasn't.
Okay. So however, I guess you all would have to restate it or whatever the proper terms.
So you need a motion to authorize.
Well, did Attorney Perry send you anything?
No, ma'am.
He didn't send you anything?
No, ma'am.
He
He just said a Scrivener's error. That's all he said. I sent it to him, and that's what he said, a Scrivener's error. So we can hold it until he gets here, or hold it for another day.
I don't think that covers it, but I won't get into the legal debate for it. But I think that it's more of an amendment to it, even though it's left off. But if he's giving you that direction or whatnot, I'll let you flow and advise them as to what he said.
Either way it goes, it's still has to be done.
Because I think it was one thing with an ordinance, it's supposed to be in writing. So that amendment should be, if you do it as an amendment, it definitely should be. I'm not familiar with that. I know in the minutes, we've kind of done it like it's a scrivener's error. But I have not seen that done with an ordinance. But if he communicated that with you, then you can go ahead and.
Well, I ain't making
He
a
did, he
motion.
communicated with me and at the last time we had it on the agenda.
I don't know what I'm saying about script.
All right, so what's your pleasure?
I think we could just.
What do we agenda it, or whether we provide it or say that it's just scrivener's error? I think it's what adding north to the south to the street.
So there's a motion.
It does matter how you do it though.
Does the motion need to include these degrees that's on this range? Does the motion need to include the degrees that's on the range?
Yes. Sure.
So we got a motion that's in scrivener's error. And we got
I plan on motion to amend it to the correct terminology. If that's okay, I think it is, we can't get past it. The script error may be separate, but we're all here, so I make the motion to amend the changing of the Ida B. Wells Street from Memphis Street to North Memphis Street from the range of 100 to 455, North Memphis Street. North Ida B. Wells Street.
and did you say it's a street ad?
Street.
We said
Street.
street.
Okay, north
And then
street.
then the south Ida B. Wells Street, South Memphis Street from range 100 to 300 to South Ida B. Wells Street. Effective immediately.
A second. It's been moved by Alderman Fountain, second by Alderman Mayweather. And you have to say why immediately. If you want to open.
So you said, why we amended?
You have to say why if you wanted to take effect immediately. You have to say why. This is my
I
opinion.
want to say,
But you
to
can
take
yield
these
to, Mr. Estes and see.
What you want?
Hmm?
Why I wanted to fix it.
because we've already motioned it a year ago and it had not been done prior to that is the reason that I would prefer that it's effective immediately. And if it was if it was caused by an error in the motion, then my reason for correcting the motion and asking for it to be done immediately is because it should have been done a year ago. If that makes any sense to you.
It's an improvement within that.
I think that that's fine.
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Ah,
All right. Motion passes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. And I'd like the record to reflect that Alderman Jones has entered the room. All right, and I'm gonna hold item number 11 until the committee session. I'm gonna hold this as well. One of the things.
Mayor Gibson, public hearing.
Public hearing, okay, all right. All right, thank you. We'll recess until the public hearing for the budget. All right. We are now in the public hearing for the budget.
You gotta make a motion to open.
You want to do a motion to what now?
You have to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Oh, okay, all right. So is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to open public hearing.
It's been moved by Alderman Mayweather, second by Alderman Schiff to open the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, we are now in the public hearing. Madam City Clerk, the floor is yours. Yes.
It has to be balanced before you go back.
We have a sign-in sheet
Yes, keep us with
for
you.
public hearing.
Or is it up?
Ms. Jones is going to put a form on the back for anyone who wishes to speak during the public hearing. Just the name on the list and then you'll have 3 minutes. You'll sign it up. As I mentioned, the sign-in sheet is on the All right, so while we're waiting for the sign-in sheet, we are now officially in the public hearing. We'll wait for Ms. Jones to return. Ms. Jones. You can just leave it, come up. Thank you so much. All right. The floor is yours.
Who, me? It's not anything for me to discuss.
Ma'am?
It's the public hearing, it's for the public to,
Right, we normally talk a little bit and then let people come up. You want the people to speak first?
yeah, they can. Any questions that they have or see within the budget that's being supplied out there?
Okay, so which budget do you have after?
I have the departmental budget requests that's out in the public.
All right, so Ms. Jones has also made available the requests from the different departments. You have those before you. If you would, Ms. Scott, will you bring up the sign-in sheet, please? I'm in the board meeting. Okay, thank you. All right, so the first person to sign up for the public hearing, Mr. Jim Smith.
Jim Smith, making up for last meeting that I missed. My question really isn't on the expenses, because they're driven by the economy. It's the $275,000 of unrealized revenue that you haven't received yet. Do you still anticipate receiving $150,000 and small municipality grant and the $50,000 in MDOT sidewalk grant and all the other unrealized cash there? The other thing that I don't see, and it might be hidden in a line item on expenses, is there's no, doesn't seem to be a line item for HSUD litigation. And I know the mayor's been trying to hire attorneys to represent the city in potential litigation, and I think that's a smart thing, but I think it should be identified in the budget. And if it is hidden in the line item that I'm not seeing, I think it should be a separate line item, because it is a separate entity in it of itself. HSUD, it has its own federal ID number and things like that, but, and I understand the intricacy in the corporate structure of the two entities. And I understand that the city would be paying for it. I would just like to see it broke out, just in, just so we have a handle on what it's going to cost us, because it is going to cost you something. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we have Mr. Velver LaShure. So please come forward, and you have 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Delbert LaShure from Holly Springs, Mississippi. And I have a few questions in regards to this proposed budget. Number one, I want to move to the police department budget there. I understand I've been in communication with the Standards and Bureau of the state of Mississippi. And I understand that we have some people that's on payroll that's not certified. It's actually trainees. However, they're receiving a lieutenant salary, one being Mr. Marshall Sanders. So I'm looking at the salaries on this police department budget here. It does not reflect anything from last year. And so is it possible to put last year's salaries there? Because right now you're showing $907,561 there. What was that budgeted for last year? That would be something that would be interesting to find out there. Also, if we go ahead and move on to and does that and does those salaries reflect certified officers or non-certified officers? I think that if we can put that in there somewhere to see the difference, because I don't think that it's legal to pay a non-certified officer a salary more than you have for a certified person, especially considering that this particular individual is a trainee according to the state of Mississippi. I'm going to move from that part there. And then if we could move to, I want to move to this back page here. And you're showing the Sims lease agreement there. And so is that, how much have the ICS, since they've leased that building, how much have they paid to date? Are they still paying, making they're fulfilling their terms of the lease? When does the lease expire with ICS? That's something that I think that the public should be aware of. And the American Rescue Plan Act, does this amount include the interest that's have accrued on that particular in that account? Those are some of the things that I think that we should have in the budget, especially in regards to that lease agreement with ICS, and whether or not they've been making their monthly payment per that lease agreement, and when does that lease agreement actually expire? And so, otherwise, I think that if we could have a comparison, if the public could have a comparison of last year's budget versus this year's proposed budget, and you can maybe see the difference in these different departmental agencies to see whether or not there's going to be increases in salaries or increases in services, which the public is desperately desiring right now, is the services part. So we would like to be able to see that reflected in this document. It's unfortunate that it didn't happen during this, prior to this public hearing. And that way, I think that if it did, I think that we could have a more fruitful conversation about the budget of the city if we had an opportunity to look at the difference there. We could kind of see exactly what direction the city is going into. Because what we got here is just the proposed part. We have nothing to compare it with. And so I guess I could sit here and just ask her, the city clerk, a few questions about it if it's okay. But I'm not sure if it is okay with you. Okay. What was the police salary last year compared to this number right here?
Without it being in front of me, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Okay, so and that's why it's important. That's why it would be important to have those numbers in front of us. The public should have those numbers in front of us. You know, and I know that the Board of Aldermen may have it, but if it would be available to the public, possibly do another public hearing, and that way we'll be able to have a more fruitful conversation about this particular budget. Kind of understand that? You have zero, there's no comparison here. So, do you know the number that the police salary last year, ultimately?
Yes.
What number was that?
886,000,
886,
097,
097,
66 cents.
66. And so of that amount of budget, how much has been expended thus far in this particular budget cycle? You have that number? You don't have any idea? Okay, so, and I think that it would be, let me see, what word am I looking for?
Jones keeps up with the time frame.
I didn't know we were on a time limit. We didn't have a time.
I think she said 3 minutes. Am I 3 minutes up? Okay, it's no problem. But again, if we could just get a comparison with the data that you produced as far as the proposed, if we can get a comparison here, I think that we'll be able to have a better outlook on what direction the city is going. I do like the idea of cutting wasteful spending. I think that you've been excellent at that, Mayor Gibson. I appreciate that. I think the taxpayers do appreciate that. But as far as this budget, I don't think that it's complete. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes as far as the public comment during this hearing. So the questions were, Mr. Smith talked about the unrealized cash and whether we felt like that we would be receiving that. He also talked about making sure that we have a line item for litigation and HSUD. As we all know, we'll talk in executive session regarding the email that we received from Attorney Perry regarding that. And then also, Mr. LaSure talked about comparing the salaries and the differences in the budgets from last year and this year, specifically the police department and concern there. He also had a question regarding the ICS lease, utilizing the SIM building, the terms of the lease, and whether or not it has been paid. And then also talked about trying to find out whether or not the budget is a reflection of increases in salary versus increases in services. Would anyone like to comment regarding that? Those questions and concerns that were presented to us.
Well, I certainly would like to address the budget as a whole, looking at different aspects and components of it. The board, we have been working tirelessly to look at all of the different areas or departments, their requests, and then, of course, our revenues versus our expenditures, or what we can approve in the budget. Right now, as you would look inside of the budget that you have in your hands, there on page, I'm not sure what that page is, but it shows that we are with this budget, and Madam Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, within this budget, we are still not balanced. We have, what is it? A difference of $1,384,438.52 that we are out of balance with this budget. So, of course, Mr. Jones, our general manager for the utilities department, has not spoken. He will have the opportunity, I'm sure, to do so, because I'm sure the board is eagerly waiting to see if the city of Holly Springs is going to receive the pilot money from the utility department that helps us to balance our budget. Right now, we're looking at some serious, in my opinion, now the other board members can chime in, my colleagues, but we're looking at some serious probable cuts that's going to have to take place, that we can have a balanced budget. We, of course, know that our employees work hard. They deserve raises. They deserve, cost of living, increases. But right now, we are seriously looking at having to, freeze hiring. We're looking at having to freeze raises. The truth of the matter is, right now, with the City of Holly Springs Utility Department in arrearages of $3 million to the city. And that's what we're having and hopefully, at some point, once we hear from Mr. Jones, that we will see that, the meter reading and the bills out on time and I know that there's some serious improvements that have been made. I'm not saying that there, as a Mr. Jones, in my opinion, has done a phenomenal job. But at the end of the day, the facts remain what they are. And we as a board are gonna have to take some serious looks at this. It's right in front of you. Everybody has it in their hand. It's in red. Whatever somebody want to say, but it's there. And so, of course, I totally agree, and that's what I've been spending countless hours doing with the other colleagues, and that is going through looking at last year's salaries, last year's services, and comparing them to the requests that have been made for this year. So we're looking at that. We are certainly wanting all of our departments to know that we hear you, we appreciate you, but we're looking at really and truly with a fine-tooth comb our revenue that's coming in. Everyone knows, it's not a secret, our tax equivalency payments have been cut in half, and those are payments from the utility department that helps us pay salaries, that helps us to provide services in the city, including employment. And so right now, we haven't received those payments. They've been cut in half. We received, how much, Madam Clerk?
How much have we received?
I know it's $150,000 that we received. I think you mentioned 4 or 5 times. So that affects the budget tremendously. And that's what we want to hear from Mr. Jones in session, or as to when will we're feeling like those payments will resume, and how much we have to do in terms of cuts, or to make sure that we provide you, our citizens, with a balanced budget.
So I think that's something in Alderman Meriwether, I'll address it later so that we definitely can get to the truth of the matter, such as we had never missed a payment until now. So I have to go on the record saying that. But at this time, Mr. Jones, if you'll come forward, and Alderman, ma'am?
Want to close the public hearing, or do you want to go to the budget
Well,
meeting?
it's all on the budget, so we can stay in the public hearing to discuss. Yes, Alderman Pound?
My question is to the city attorney. This proposed budget that you handed out today, is that with all of the wish list increases? Is that all in here?
Every departmental request that was on that paper
Yes.
that was submitted is
It's
in that
there.
pack.
Look,
Yes. I asked her to go ahead and pull that together. I think that it's in there.
Yes.
I think everything's in it except for, did you put the raises in it? Or
No
just-
raises.
Just the equipment, because we had only heard, we have been asking for months, we only heard from 2 aldermen until what was today. We had heard from Alderman Fountain and Alderman Ship as to, as far as input. And so we knew we had to give people something, so she put this together. Knowing some of the feedback on the utility payments, the increases were taken out, and just as far as the equipment. And so that's why it's not showing it's budgeted, it's balanced at this time, because of the fact that we had to move forward to do something because we had not received anything. Now, about 5 o'clock this evening, the city clerk, Ms. Jones, did make me aware that Alderman Meriwether had put together a document that she had proposed, but that was around 5 o'clock when I saw that, so I have not even had an opportunity to look at that. And then I think that it's imperative as we put out different things into the atmosphere, that it's important to say that as far as, because I want people to really know the truth of it, is that we have more of a meter reading problem than we do as a financial problem. And so if the meters are not read in a timely fashion, that puts everything behind. That puts the bills behind. That puts the collections behind. And so that has affected us a great deal. We do have certain funds in contingency, Mr. Smith. However, as you saw during the storm, we were not allowed to release them. We were not allowed to utilize those. Definitely in a time like this with TVA, that would have been something that I would have wanted to do, as well as the line of credit. But mainly the financial side is coming from the delay in the meter reading and that being done. So, but Alderman Fountain, I don't know if that answer, you got your question answered.
Yeah, because I was looking at the, he was looking at the salary and the salary. So is that because of the pay scale that we implemented this last time?
It
That
is.
the increase?
Yes, ma'am.
Talking about as far as police officers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just noticed.
So, that definitely affected that change. That happened mid-year, but it should have been attached to that budget so that you could see that changed at some point, for the police department. So, definitely, I think, once we have a chance, as I mentioned, because of the fact that we didn't receive any feedback, so that's why this has that where it's not balanced. And, so we'll go back through with the feedback, to know how to look forward. Alderman Jones, I see your face. Nothing. Okay. All right, Mr. Jones?
Before we come,
Okay.
Madam City Clerk, how much was the
Let's
difference
see, Mr. Jones.
from what we put in to the 2025 budget? But, there's a line item number of just
Revenue. So the revenue from last year proposed was 9.1. This year is 7.9. That we are proposing in revenue.
And does that include the pilot payments?
Yes.
So this budget, because we talked about it, a budget with the pilot payments, a budget without the pilot payments, and a budget with $150,000 of the pilot payment.
And that's what you have on your desk.
This is the one with the 150,000. What is this? The one you put on our desk?
You have three, you have four.
They're all right here. Every single.
Yes.
So with all three of these budgets, because for the public's information, again, we were concerned about, and Mr. Jones is here, and I'm eager to hear his report, but we were concerned about the money, the payments from the utility department. And this is why I asked Madam Clerk to create three budgets, one without, because Mr. Jones, who is doing, a great job, said that he did not think, and I'll let him speak to that we may receive our tax equivalency payments for this budget year. So if we're not going to receive them, how can we put them and include them in the budget and allocate that money that's not there? Okay, I want to make sure it's clear. So one of the budgets that we have in front of us includes the tax equivalency, which is approximately what, Madam Clerk?
Okay. So with the tax equivalency, there's a difference with the cuts that you made. There's a difference of $626,764.78.
So that's with the tax equivalency. That's receiving from the utility department, how much per month? Approximately.
$231,209.
And there's still a $600,000 deficit of cuts that we have to make. I want to make sure that's clear. That's with the tax equivalency money. All right? Without the tax equivalency money.
Without tax equivalency, $3,399,430.86.
What is that?
A deficit, yes,
That's without it.
yes.
Okay.
And with the 150,000 payment, monthly payment that we were receiving, $1,599,430.86.
That's with 150 as part of the tax equivalency money, still in the deficit. So when I say cuts have to be made, that's my thinking. Now, my colleagues, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just sharing. And that's where the board has to focus their attention. Again, we understand now, let me ask you a question. In those two, with the 150 and without, were all of the requests put in there
No,
from the departments?
no, ma'am.
So that's not,
That's based off the last year's budget and with the cuts that you requested.
gotcha.
That's not department.
So what I did was I went through the budget from last year and looked at what did we spend, where are we, each department? What was their budget? How much of it did they use? Did they go over? And then try to look at some ways that we could make some cuts. That's what I sent to Madam Clerk. So I did that to try and find some ways that we could make some significant cuts, but not be too detrimental. So that's what she referred to. I just wanted everybody to understand where we are in terms of looking at these budgets. We still have to balance the budget. That means it has to be zero across the line, no deficit. And so that's what we're gonna have to look at. I'm sorry, continue.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Board. I want to state, first of all, personally, I don't have anything against paying the tax equivalency or payment in lieu of taxes. However, according to the TVA agreement, HSUD cannot pay the tax equivalency in its current condition because we are not making the TVA payments, and there has been money mixed as far as TVA is concerned. We owe, there has to be a $289,000 payment back to the gas department. That's one thing. But it says in the that's, excuse me, I got a cold, the technical amount. But we can't pay the tax equivalent. The HSUD cannot pay the tax equivalency. That's in the power contract.
Are we financially able to pay them? I understand what.
Okay, now that becomes the question. And in order to become in order to know, for me to tell you that we are financially sound, there's a few things that have to happen. And the TVA accountants have told me that I need access to the 2021 HSUD audit. I have not seen the audit. I have not seen the 2022 audit, the 2023 audit, or the 2024 audit, which tells you the conditions that an auditor looks at your finances and tells you, which state the company is in, which state you are in. I don't have that information, and the accountants tell me that I am not going to be able to make a sound budget and make sound decisions until I have that information. That's one aspect of it that has to happen. The other aspect of it is our billing and our meter reading. Our meter reading has improved from the time, from the beginning until now. Now, I was able to finally get the data from CSA that's going to allow us to put the meter reading addresses in an order of GIS, so that people are not going to have to flip through the pages and take time doing it. It's a complicated thing, but I got it put in an Excel format so I can create a pivot table. It was just a matter of getting it, and now I have to do that. But that's going to save us a lot of time in the meter reading. The other thing, we are not using all of our resources appropriately that are at our disposal in terms of personnel and transportation. Every time, last week, a meter reader's truck broke down. We had to, well, you know, that guy, he missed a day going out reading meters, and the contractor that goes with him missed a day because they have to learn how to read the routes or drive the routes where these meters are. And every time that happens, when we don't use our resources efficiently, we lose out on meter reading. When you lose out on meter reading, your billing stays behind. Now,
Can I interject?
yes, ma'am.
Because you texted us or called us last week and said that we purchased how many trucks? in the Utility department?
5.
5. And that the truck, one meter reader truck had gone down
Yes.
and that you needed the keys to the 5 trucks that the mayor was holding. Did you get the keys? Have you got
No, I don't have the keys. The trucks need fire extinguishers and they need safety lights, wigwag lights, and those have to be installed. We do have the titles and the tags for the trucks, and those resources could go a long ways to getting our meters, you know, read and our billing done. Now, that's where we are. I don't focus on that. I'm trying to
I
get
understand
this
that, but I
done.
just needed to ask that question because we purchased 5 trucks. And it's not fair that the mayor hold the keys to the 5 trucks that I know I text the mayor and asked her to please give you the keys to the truck so that the meter readers can go out and read the meters. And to date, you have not received those keys.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, you may continue.
So
Go ahead, Alderman.
I'm just kind of baffled, you know, by some of the information that I'm hearing. If meter reading is the issue in regards to us collecting revenues in order for us to be on time to make TVA payments as well as tax equivalency payments to the city, that means we should be doing everything that we could in regards to aid in meter reading, so that we can, you know, collect those revenues accordingly. I'm still trying to figure out like what's the issue, because we know what the issues are in regards to the revenues surrounding the utility department, but yet and still I hadn't seen anything that has been solution oriented in regards to the financial state of the utility department, if you understand what I'm saying. If we know that we have certain deficits in areas, what kind of plan are we proposing, or what kind of plan that we're brainstorming? We don't get involved into the daily operations of the utility department. So it's kind of hard for us to even tell what's actually happening just because we can't get involved into the daily operations. So my question is, what type of conversations are being held? What type of meetings have been held in regards to creating real solutions to correct what the deficit that we're in at the utility department, if you understand what I'm saying? We know that these payments from the utility department aids the city budget of about almost $3 million. And so if we're not collecting those monies, how can we have a budget that's balanced, if you understand what I'm saying? And technically right now, do you have a proposed budget for the utility department?
I have a capital budget. I don't have a proposed full budget because it's so hard to actually do. See, yes, the meter reading and billing.
I understand that, but even with that, we have to have a budget. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even with that, we gotta have a budget. Have you thought about a plan in regards to making the payments to the city in some type of increments, small increments, large increments? Have you thought of any type of plan regarding that? Have the accountants collaborated and thought about a plan in regards to that?
As far as the accountants and TVA is concerned, we cannot pay tax equivalency. It is the last thing in the power contract that gets paid. You got to make sure that you can deliver that you can deliver the power, that your preventive maintenance is done first, that all your expenses are paid for as far as as far as the electricity is concerned, that there's things that have to be done, and tax equivalency is the last thing that we can pay according to the, so all the,
I understand it.
I
What are
can't-
we doing in regards to projections? I'm just having a hard time understanding the financial side of the utility department when we have people that deal in monies every single day at the utility department. It shouldn't be not one question that goes unanswered as it relates to the finances of the utility departments.
okay, I
Mr.
can
Jones,
answer that
Let
question.
me say this, yes, I was asking some
I was just gonna say, there is a lot of litigation that is ongoing and prospective with the Hot Springs Utility Department. So I would just say exercise caution in the statements that are being made and the questions that are being asked.
Exactly, and so I want to, speak to that. So I know last week when there was talk about a budget and Ms. Mason was working on one. However, Mr. Jones said that he did not want her to do one. I'm not sure if he was still here or not, although she is the managing accountant. But she did put together something, and I do, have it here that I received. I asked her to go ahead and send it to me because we have to have something. And as you mentioned, as far as it's your accounting people who would have to answer that question, who have to be involved. Even in the matter with TVA, there were questions after questions, and we don't have anything to hide. I know I haven't done anything wrong, no, Ms. Mason hasn't done anything wrong. And none of the other young ladies who work in it. So we definitely don't have a problem with that, but there is a proper, way to do everything. And so, and not allowing this young lady with her accounting degree from the University of Mississippi to complete this as she has done previously. And I have to go on record and say that when the contractors for the meter readers, and you're absolutely correct, Alderman Jones, we should be doing everything possible to get those meters read. And we were doing that. We had different people from our departments, and this is something that's not new. This is something that former GMs have done as well, where they call in people from the different departments, from electric, from water, from wherever. And Mr. Humphreys has been here for a while, and so he can verify that they have come in and read whenever there has been a delay in the meters. Mr. Vogel is not here tonight, but he can also explain to you all that not only do we have the GE meters from when we first started having issues, now there are even more issues because we had started a process where Mr. Vogel and Alima would go and take down the transmitters, would bring them back to the building. He had determined how to make them upload themselves. And they would take them down and bring them back to the building, one at a time, but still it would help because a transmitter can read more meters than one individual person. However, Mr. Jones stopped them from that process of going to get the transmitters. He said, well, we shouldn't have to do that. No, we shouldn't have to do that, but we had to do it because it was helping as far as the billing and getting things back on track. Not only with that, but certain individuals were told that they did not have to read the meters. The contractors were supposed to come and catch us up within 60 days. However, they have expressed that they were told they would have 60 days to learn the routes. They are still riding with our folks. I was told that even this weekend, their cars were parked and they were in the vehicles with our people who were working this weekend.
Okay, question, is that the meter reading company that you, came to an agreement with?
Yes, that is.
That's them. So I asked for a copy of the contract, and it was just one page, and it does pretty much say Mr. Jones signed it himself. I don't know if the attorney saw that one or not. But it was out there, so they're still trying.
One more minute.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alderman
Do
Campbell.
you have this information that Mayor Gibson is talking about? Did anyone give that to you?
Oh, yeah, I know about the contract. I know exactly what,
He
I,
signed the
I
contract.
know exactly what the contract says, and I can explain exactly why
He doesn't have
it doesn't say anything about 60 days. The contract was for 90 days. And it was explained in the contract that they could only come a certain time of the month when I brought it here the first time, because they already have a contract in New Albany, and that they would have to learn how to read the routes. That is expected. When you don't use your resources appropriately and you don't have people using them to their maximum effect, it causes delays. That's what happened here. This is a matter of the meter reading and the billing. It is also a matter of the accounting. The accounting is in a shambles to say, according to the contract, according to the consultants, the financial consultants from TVA, accounts weren't reconciled. We have no records of accounts being balanced. We have no.
Mr. Jones, that wasn't my question. I was
Okay.
talking about, did you have a copy of the proposed?
Yes,
budget
I do have a
From
copy of
Ms.
it.
Mason. Did Ms.
Oh.
Mason give you a copy of the proposed budget that she's going to?
She sent me something the day I had asked her for it, I asked her for it last week,
You
and
can ask
so
for it. You
I
actually
don't have.
said in the
Do you
meeting that
have-
you didn't want it, Mr. Jones.
No, I did
Let's be
not.
honest.
I did not. I've never said
How
that.
do they say,
Well,
roll the tape?
You don't have.
Point of order.
No,
Let me interject
I know I
in this situation right here, because what I'm seeing is really kind of distasteful.
Right.
Because we are in a position of public service, and we gotta be able to put ourselves to the side, you know, in that manner in regards to when we're dealing with the public dollars, you know, and dealing with citizens, period. And so, if that's the reason that we're not getting things done, we all should be ashamed.
I agree.
And I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Thank you, Alderman Johnson. That is
Well, and I'm just
absolutely
gonna,
correct.
if
And,
you don't mind, Mayor, I'm gonna
yes,
bounce
go
off
ahead.
of him, and I just wanna make it known. It's in bad shape, and I know we're talking about cuts and all that. I won't, if it comes down to it, I'll throw my salary away. I'm not gonna sit up here and make money. What little bit it is, it's not much, now, y'all get me wrong. But I cannot sit up here and take a check and have to send employees home because I can't, I'll go home myself before I send somebody home because this is just, now is it, we're all at fault. I mean, whether we swallow that pill or not, I won't, now I can't speak for everybody, but my salary will be taken off of here. I'll still do my duty, but I can't, so many people been here 30, 40, 50 years and, you know, I just want to make that known.
Right, and I
That's all I'm-
appreciate you saying that. I will say, and for, everyone that from looking at it, as I mentioned, we had not, even with the contingency fund not being released, Mr. Smith, we still during that time period, successfully made the payments. We had to alternate. We had to work our budget. We had to make cuts. Directors had anything, as Ms. Jones explained last week, anything above $100, they had to come and see me and see her so that we could watch it and make sure that it's something that needed to be done. We worked with our vendors, Ms. Mason and Ms. Russell, they're both here. We worked with our vendors so that they would see, because you could see as you looked in at Alderman Jones, you could look at the amount of cash that you would receive to know that it was the meter reading. Ms. Whitney Hunt Jones, worked with us as well, because she could tell you and estimate, this is what I normally would receive at this time period. These are the ones that are behind, and we split them up. And you're right, it can't be about personal, it can't be about whether you like somebody, if somebody has some skills or they can do something, it doesn't matter what the feelings are, to allow them to do it. Also, one of the things that TBA talked about was the issues on one of the things they gave us, it was something from 2000. Mason has been here about 2 years, and during that time, we had quite a bit going on. But they talked about something that had not been done since 2000. And so, and part of that is because of the fact that previously we had CSA, and they're wonderful with a lot of help, but a lot of people stopped doing certain things and kind of depended on CSA or TVA. There were certain reports that TVA actually completed until this administration got in. And they were handling those. They were completing those. So, and I do plan to memorialize something regarding what was provided, because I know that everybody probably, did you all receive something from Mr. Jones today? An email?
I did.
Yeah.
To the budget and whatnot, to, Mr. Wayne Jones. So, but in that, Mr. Jones, I do plan to respond to you on that. Looks like I'm the only one who received it. Because a lot of that happened with TVA. I'm not sure what the deal is. They had you talk and asked if there were meetings and things about it. So I have met with the meter readers, but then I find out later that they've been pulled off because at first I thought, well, maybe Ms. Jones just really didn't understand how reading a meter would affect your revenue. And so, but then after everybody expressed it to him, even the TVA accountant expressed to him that meter reading was the key. We can talk about the trucks at a different moment, but there's a reason for that. But even before we had the new trucks, which y'all know that I fought for to get, so and they're to go to several departments, not just one. But even before we got those, we still managed to get it done because there are many trucks out there. And that was the first priority, and we have to make it the first priority. And the sample grant, contract, TVA, that wasn't the one that we really had. It's not one that was filled out that you were looking at. It was a sample contract. And yes, they say those things. But as long as we're taking care of them, which is part of what has me concerned, is that before the change, that we were able to make it because we knew that that would be a concern, as they should be in that moment. But if there's a way to retrieve those funds, then none of us should get in the way of that. We should work to make it happen. We should work to get it done. And so that's what we were doing. That's where the issue is. As far as the financial side of it, Mattel, I don't think that you'll have to give up your salary. I think it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very kind of you. It's very honorable of you to do that. But in looking at it and the experience since I've been here, I don't think so. Now, TVA just increased their rates again by 5 point, I know you know, 5.25 or something. So it's going to be almost a 10% increase. And people already, yes, they increased it. They increased the rate over the top. So that's going to make it where they've almost increased it by 10% in a year. So that's going to affect everything as well. But I don't think in this point in time that there is a need to cut something or move it out. This budget is not balanced because of the timing of it. Because I asked people to give feedback so that it could be respected. And then Ms. Jones was almost crying, wanting to put something in. And I said, well, put in what the departments got. So that's something that we have not even looked at so that we can have. I was not aware of her conversation with Alderman Merriweather and the different samples until, like I said, about 5 o'clock. Otherwise, that one probably wouldn't have gone down. So we hadn't had a chance. I haven't looked at that one or any of the other ones that Ms. Jones talked about. So, but with my experience and in talking with the different accountants we have, that we are safe to put it in. If we see that we're having an issue, that they're not going to be read, then we can always go back because we're already looking to see what other cuts can we have. As Alderman Jones said, the service. Somebody that I heard earlier today, Mr. Felbert, I think that's who it was, talked about whether it was about salaries or service. So that if we're given that opportunity, because we're just saying this, to look at it and see what we need and how we can do it and how we can make it. But the tax equivalency does not need to be taken out, and that's my spin on that. But I do have a copy of this, and I will get this. I will scan it, send it to all of you all tonight as far as from the utility department that what Ms. Mason has proposed and put together. But last week she was told that Ms. Jones did tell us that he was going to do one himself.
So if I may share.
Yes, I will, Mayor, go.
Let me provide some clarity, and I'm here what the mayor is saying and what she presented. But the bottom line is, you cannot rob people to pay off. So you got $1.6 million worth of checks in a drawer. You have over $500,000 worth of checks in the mayor's office, if what I heard is correct. And you say that you've never missed a TVA payment. Somebody is missing payments. Somewhere. You're not paying your bills. And in terms of the information, I've met, and Mr. Jones and I are the liaison or contact people for TVA. We've met several times. The mayor has met or supposedly met with TBA. We're not in the business of manipulation and fear tactics. We want to know the matter of fact, actual status, financial status of the utility department.
That's his job.
We're not trying to hire, we're not trying to,
You
no comments.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're hired.
No comments, no comments. Thank you for that, but no comments, and I totally agree. But we're not trying to hide, manipulate, use word twisters and all that. We're not trying to do that. All we want, we've been calling for an accurate account of the utility department for almost 2 years. Am I right, colleagues, or wrong? This is nothing that has begun with Mr. Jones. He's having to clean up mess. He's having to straighten up and look and try to disentangle or detangle the nonsense with the finances. That's why we invited TBA's accountant in.
I'm out, you're wrong.
That's okay, I make
No,
it,
you're wrong.
but I'm right
You
tonight.
hired somebody that's not
That's okay,
experienced.
that's okay, that's okay.
To do his job.
That's okay.
He should already know that budget before you try to give a budget for the city.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we got it, we got it.
Yes.
Sometimes the truth hurts, but we're gonna be
She's already
transparent.
saying there's no reason to just harass.
We're gonna be transparent tonight. Because we want this rectified, we want it fixed. Mr. Jones is doing a great job. He's having the accountants to look at all of the money, all of the accounts, so that he can provide us clarity.
Even last
Wait a minute. I'm just talking, I'm talking.
I got one other thing that's I think is very important, and that is the uncollected funds at the utility department. The number of people, businesses and residents that owe the utility department money between $180,000 to $100 and it's over 500 customers. I looked at it today. We have uncollected funds over 90 days past due that for whatever reason, we haven't been collected, but we have a TBA bill to pay that we haven't paid.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
with you knowing that, what's happening? What's the plan of action? See, that's what I'm saying.
I got my recommendations in
Right,
here.
that's what we need.
Yeah, I got,
Plan of action. If we got a long list of issues and no solution, it's not good. So I wanna know the solutions.
okay.
I know the issues exist. So what's the plan of action with us knowing that that's the issue?
Okay, well, one of the things,
Hang on, Mr.
okay,
Just for time and clarity, the public hearing is still open.
Okay.
So if we can kind of, the questions and the information should probably be catered towards whether or not he has a budget, whether you are going to look at the budget, just because the public hearing is still open. Once the public hearing is closed, if you all need to discuss just general practices, what he's doing, then I think that's appropriate. But right now, the
Right.
public hearing for the budget is still open.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so, well, if there's nothing else, Mr. Belver, you already signed up for your public comments to
Right,
speak.
so I was hoping that, participate in that part of the public.
You've already signed up for it, you've already spoken, Mr. Belver.
He didn't present his part.
I know, but you've already spoken.
I just wanted to know what page that power contract was being referred to.
Okay, so we'll ask that later on and see.
You could answer that first.
All right, thank you all. We've got to get back on track. I appreciate the attorney asking, for bringing us forward.
We have to
I will-
adopt the tax levy.
Ma'am?
We have to adopt the tax levy before we vote.
Okay, and Alderman, Tim has inquired, regarding, that earlier. Do you have a copy of that?
It was in the board pack. It's staying the same.
Okay, so, she didn't bring another copy, okay.
I did.
So,
You know
on
what the tax levy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't see any line item on this, that's why I was asking. On the agenda, I didn't
you have.
Oh, it's at the
discuss
top.
the change or anything.
No,
so,
they're staying the same and the revenue is the top numbers.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Jones can go.
We need to make a motion.
Thank you.
No, we need to do this first, as far as this, tax levy. That she's talking about. Okay, Ms. Jones, go ahead.
For the 2024-2025 resolution fixing the tax levy for the city of Holly Springs and the Holly Springs School District, the millage is staying the same for that tax year. So we just need a motion for that and then a roll call vote.
Is there a motion to adopt the tax levy, and Ms. Jones has explained that if the taxes will not change, they will not
That's not
increase or decrease based on this. Is there a motion?
I move that we, adopt the tax levy.
Is there a second?
It's the 2024-2025 tax year.
All right, it's been moved, Alderman Schiff, second by Alderman Fountain. All those in favor? Oh, roll call vote.
Yes, ma'am. Alderman Fountain, Alderman Jones, Alderman Ship, Alderman Teal,
No,
Alderman Merriweather.
Aye.
I'll just explain my name that I got this today.
Well, they were in the.
It's in the board pack.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I know, but I mean-
That's right. You just look at it today.
Well, I didn't, yeah.
You can pick it up, okay. I just want to make that clear, because we definitely, put them in the package, drop them off.
That was Saturday, I feel like it's Friday.
It was Friday,
When will it start?
Friday night, Friday about 5:30, about 5:30, I think, once we got off. Because the police department was about to go out on a detail. All right, so, is there a motion to close, the budget hearing?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we close the budget hearing, public hearing on the budget.
Is there a second to close the budget hearing? It's been moved by Alderman Merriweather, second by Alderman Schiff to close the budget hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, next we'll go back to the regular agenda, and I see, Mr. Grant is here, regarding the Hill Street, Cuba Street project, and, he has an item that we need to take action on. It was on the agenda for last week, but we had some confusion in, contacting your office. So I appreciate you coming out. I know you got quite a bit going on. So, tell us what you need us to do. Is it a motion to authorize the execution of the agreement?
It is. I appreciate y'all letting me come tonight. I've got a little drawing of what we're gonna try to do. It's not plans now, it's just a drawing of the areas. So it's okay, I'll pass those out.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
That's you. That looks good. You're gonna see some drawings in there of the areas that, we intend to try to use the grant for. Basically, it's, the largest area is on Hill Street itself, where the, pipe that comes more or less from the park area over is undersized, and we had proposed to upgrade that and fix the surface inlets. It also, that ditch extends between Hill Street and Cuba Street and backs up there, and there's a lot of erosion going on in that big ditch. And we'll replace the pipe under Cuba Street and rip wrap that ditch. And then if you go north in one of those some of those drawings are blow ups, some of them are just the overall area. I think the first one's the overall. And there's a place up north of there, I don't remember the exact address, but that pipe and that area up there has a paved ditch that has failed. We need to remove that ditch, dress all that up, fix the ditch back, and grass that area. And the other item you have is the budget itself, which is the amount of money we received from the legislative appropriation. And I broke that down, and certainly that's not based on plans, it's based on my best guess as to what we're doing right now. When we get the plans drawn, then we would come back to y'all, show you the plans, and then suggest that we take bids. So, but tonight, to answer your question, Mayor, that's the budget. That's utilizing all the money. And then the other thing would be, I think, Ms. Jones may have a copy of my contract.
It was in the board pack.
And, if y'all would execute that, then I can go to work.
I just want to say how grateful the citizens of Ward 4 is to you, Mr. Britt, for coming tonight. I thank you for that and for preparing such a detailed presentation of what it looks like in terms of the areas what you have to do. I'm excited.
Is there a motion to authorize the execution of the agreement with Elliott and Britt regarding the Hill Street, Cuba Street Park project?
Yes, I would like to gladly and proudly make that motion that we enter into a contract with Mr. Elliott and Brick for the Hill Street and Cuba Street project.
It's moved by Alderman Merriweather, second by Alderman Till. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, we'll get that now emailed to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate y'all letting me come tonight.
Thank you.
Look forward to getting it fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, I have the grants on here, but one thing that we need to do as well with everyone's consensus is the fire department. I don't know what happened to the area dealing with the bids for the vehicles that you all took under advisement. If you come forward for me, please. And that is 13A. You all looked at it. This is for a vehicle. All right, and so, all right, so if you will explain the bids and the one that was the lowest one, Ms. Jones, you have that? This is Captain Holmes. He's sitting in. Did I get that right?
Yes, ma'am.
He is sitting in for Chief Crane, who is away at training. So I think we received, what was it, 3 bids, Ms. Jones?
3.
3 bids, okay.
Well,
You'll announce the amounts again, just to remind everybody so that we can see what the lowest one was.
this one was for 2008 Ford Expedition from J&J Merchant, $2,377.77. Miss Lolita Tucker, $2,001.99. Mr. Hunter Chase, $1,175.
All right, where's your click?
These are the same bids we had at the meeting prior to this,
Yes.
correct? I'll just refresh my memory on why we held those.
We just took up under advisement.
Okay.
You can award. The highest bid was to J&J Merchant, made the highest bid in the amount of $2,377.77 for the 2000 Ford Expedition in the Holly Springs Fire Department.
It was moved by Alderman Merriweather, second by, who did the second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Fountain. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, now we have item number 14. And Ms. Pam, you were telling me something that pretty much there was a change, so we just need to hold this item.
Yes, ma'am. I just received a letter today that the owners of that area want to remove his zoning amendment request. He wants to go with a new architect and a new engineering firm to revamp the whole area. So he wants to represent everything back. So right now, they're not going to move forward with it.
All right, we'll hold that. All right, next, item number 15, motion to authorize transfer of $2,106.50 from the general ACH fund to the general operating fund.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Merriweather. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, item number 16, motion to authorize payment of $2,977.75 to the Department of Finance and Administration, August 2024, municipal court settlement. Moved by Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Chill. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5 ayes, 0 nays. And I do have one other thing. I see that Mr. Fitz is here. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not regarding the repair of some equipment. We have a couple of quotes. Mr. Fitz, do you have those with you? This is,
Good evening, board. Yeah, I had got 2 quotes for get the tractor repaired. It was sidearm bush hog tractor. And I had a company come up, Coverton Sales. They sent our service guy up, and he came, and what's going on is the pump that went out on it. And the pump cost $5,000. That's just the pump. That's not include everything else got to go with it. But I got 2 quotes on it. And, I had someone to the mayor. Let me pull them up. I know Coverton Sales, they gave me a quote for $8,200. That's for them to come, part, and they gonna put it on everything. Then I got
Mr.
another
Fitz, you say that number one more time.
$8,200.
Yeah.
And then I found a quote on, that's just for the pump. It's a place in Pontotoc that we can buy the pump. It's cost $5,000. But we ain't got nobody to come and put it in.
So is it the hydraulic pump on it?
Yes, the big hydraulic pump work all the levers on their own.
No. Okay.
So 5K, just 5,000, just pump.
Just for the pump. Then we got to drain, we got to pull all the whole fluid out and put all new fluid back in. And that's gonna take 45 gallons of hydraulic fluid. And that's gonna cost right at $1,500 just for the oil. So you're looking, it'd be better to go ahead and get Coverton Sales to go ahead and come up, get the pump, and they're gonna come and put it in. They're gonna drain everything out, and they're gonna guarantee.
they actually came and looked at it.
Yes, they came. That's who came and looked at it and found out what was going on with it.
All right.
How much is left in that budget for this month?
Excuse me?
For his equipment budget, 46,000.
46,000 is left for September, before the new budget begins.
What was their time frame on that, Mr. Fitz?
But that was in July.
That's when you got the quotes in
Yes.
July?
So we've been just waiting.
How long did they leave that quote good for?
Well, I talked to the guy today.
Okay.
So that quote's still good. I told him they were gonna go in front of the board tonight, and I'll let them know something tomorrow. So
What was the total?
8,200.
How many bids?
2.
Two. So this is your.
That see the second bid, they don't have no survey guy to come to do it, but they can furnish us all the parts and the fluid and all that. But we still got to get it.
Does that include new hoses and all that?
We don't need no new hose.
Okay.
It's just a new pump. They're gonna drain all the old fluid out and put all new fluid back. and then they're gonna guarantee to work.
Every city travel is 46 dollars.
Thousand.
46,000. 46,000.
Yes, ma'am.
That's like good.
Thousand.
So I'll make a motion for, and you said Covington, correct?
Yes, Covington sales.
Covington Sales, for the hydraulic pump, for the, lateral bush hog, in the amount of $8,200. Motion benefit. Second.
Moved by Alderman Teal, second by Alderman Schiff. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, thank you, Mr. Fitz. And, you passed me something. Also, Ms. Jones, I think he gave a copy to everybody else. So we need to, go into executive session. So briefly, well, one on this, number 11, and then also possibly on a police personnel matter. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion, but before we go into executive session, I just wanted to bring to the, Utilities Department manager that there is a road, a pavement project supposed to be going into the sheriff department. And one part of it has been done, and the second part has not. They are in the process of moving from the old jail to the new jail, and they're needing that project complete. I think it's something around the road. It's a road. I'm aware of. Okay. But I know that the utility department's come out and completed one half of the project. There's something else that needs to be done before they can actually. Yeah, I'm aware. Okay. You have a time limit on it, or is it? It's present.
Thank you. Like a motion to go into closed session, please.
You had a motion, Alderman Fountain.
I'm moving in closed session.
So moved by Alderman Fountain, second by Alderman Teal. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 5 ayes, 0 nays.
A lot of these. Oh, next.
I was just trying to make. The board voted to go into executive session to discuss prospective litigation and the utility department, prospective litigation and the police department, and personnel matters in the police department. We appreciate your patience.
I mean, she only was four, she said, drove by and see the verified the error.
Oh, you missed on to the same way.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I think you want to talk to the press about your concerns or y'all getting it ironed out. Well, I can't cover, I can cover what you said.
I showed one and out, showed her, but
She gonna have you get
she
it.
trying to help me do you.
Yeah. So specifically, what did he deal with though? Do they have a problem with the stuff she had on her property that they thought we shouldn't be there? What would you do?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, but, I haven't got a chance to work very long. So I don't want
No, that's fine.
I just found. So any trade that I had is me at his point. This discussion, this debate. See, you get a plan. Yeah. Already, that's it, yeah. And when you have those types of discussions. Get it out. Y'all get it, get it out. Then, yeah, I hadn't had a chance to help. Yeah, I try to call. Okay. Then back to Jackson, all that. Oh, right. Yeah, I give a call. Okay. Okay. Well, Chris came to me today and said that we bargained. Well, I don't know why, the issue was not the Lance. The issue he wants to sign. What I'm saying is that commercial. Okay, so when he first came in, I gave him a letter in there from my city engineer. I want we need a window on the sign. Yeah, that's what you probably. But being that that is the city he goes from there. So I called him on Friday myself to see what can I do to help him. I know it's not wrong, but they said they have their proposal very limited because they ended up in state control by I-20. So even if they say yes, if what they're proposing is not within their will, there's no anyway. Okay, there's no anyway. So when he came to the meeting for the plan, he was going to put on the Chinese dress. There was that's what he did. There are laws that were named. I don't know anything about it. But I know it's they are real thing. We got some here. I don't know what this is. I just know. I know it's that. Yeah. No, I don't. I have seen some ambulance and work for care. Yeah, but if they said contingent upon, it's kind of
Yeah. Exactly. We gotta worry about that. He hadn't been approved. So they to the board, but it's just not- It's so when she didn't. Well, we went to like that. The minute says approve not. The city don't have no, this one, the city don't have the authority to tell him to put the bills on state right away. So even if they did approve, he could.
about Mr. Brown. Oh, Mr. Brown. Let's go. She needs to have an opportunity to say, let's go.
So still one issue not resolved, because I didn't get a script for the answer.
I would have paid for the motion back.
Because now we can attend over the day, but now we're bringing on conversation. That's fine. Because I have a very early.
We do. I want us to go to Hill Street
On the river. Just on the river.
not too far. Let me see you for
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah. I need you. Mr. Jones, I was talking about, who was that? Somebody leaving an iPad,
It's fine, yeah, I know it's back there.
Charging it up, don't forget it.
Come on up. And, what she.
No, I know it's back there.
In case I forget, you make sure all the lights are turned off and there. Thank you. We really have to.
All right, is there a motion? I talked to you.
Well,
Motion to exit executive session, cause I gotta go.
one question.
What's the question?
When is this,
I mean,
most staff supposed to give me a split up?
That's another, I'll call you tomorrow about that. I did have them to locate, Mr. Concrete is gone now. Mr. Humphries did have his team, he said that it is something they can do. You see those flags out front? That's what they're there for. They did the locate, so he know it.
And when it's street.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I have a question about the.
I don't have a date with that yet because we were looking at the amount and I've got to change the street so we can have the number to meet the funds that we have at this time. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, all right, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Alderman Schiff, second by Alderman Jones, all those in favor?
Did you read it?
Oh, excuse me, yes, no action occurred in executive session. Thank you. All right, and there was a motion to adjourn, moved by Alderman Schiff, second by Alderman Jones, and it moved with 3 ayes, 2 absent in Teal and Fountain. Good night. All right.
I'm 5 tomorrow.
All right, you come